In this section, we are going to see the differences between factory function and constructor function. To know the differences between these two functions, first you should understand what is factory function and what is constructor function. Those two videos I have already uploaded in this series. You can go that and you can watch that one so that you will be having some understanding on this factory function and constructor function. Most people get confused which function they should use while doing any project. So in this session, we are going to see the differences between them so that we can compare among ourselves and choose the best which is required for our projects. I have opened my VS Code editor. Inside this, I have written comment factory function versus constructor function. Now inside this factory function, we will be creating the function, and the function which is returning an object is called as factory function. This is how we are going to write factory function. This is the function. We have this return keyword and it is returning the object. We have name, value, paste, and we have this walk method. This is our basic factory function and everything we have seen in our previous sessions. And this is the constructor function. We are just going to give the name in capital letter, and this is how we give this dot name, and we are just going to assign the values. And for this method, we are just returning this one. Now here I will write walking every day constructor. I will just write here constructor. Okay, so that we don't get confused with this. I will save this one. Now what I have done, I have just created factory function. I have created the constructor function. This is how we are going to define this one. And factory function is nothing but it is like a normal regular function. But the only thing is this function will be returning an object. But inside this constructor function, you can see we are just going to write this dot name. We have this values. We just have to use this. Okay, this keyword. This is the first difference regarding the structure. Now the second difference is before telling the second difference, let me tell you both are used to create instance of an object. Once the template is created, we can create objects using this template. Now for this, let me just write here bike 1. And for this factory function, I do not have to use new keyword. Directly I can call this invocation will be like a regular function. I can just write here log bike 1. I will save this. Now you can see I got this result. Okay, here I am having one property and also I am having this walk. Inside this prototype, all these methods and everything is displayed. Now in the same way, I can just write here bike 2. I will come down. Here also I can just write here bike 2. I will save this. Again, I will be getting the result. Now for this constructor function, to create an instance of an object, we have to use new keyword. Let, I will be writing bike 3. And inside this, first let me just write here bike. I will just print bike 3. I will save this. Now you can see I will be getting undefined. But for factory function, as soon as I call this one, I got entire object as my result because this function is returning an object. But for this constructor function, if I directly called like this, I am going to get undefined because to create instance of an object, we have to use this new keyword. As soon as I write this new keyword, I will be getting this result. Now this bike 3 is an instance of this bike. So here I am having bike, name, property, walk method, and inside this we will be having all these arguments and all these prototypes. Okay, this is the difference between factory function and constructor function. Now you can see I have created two objects, bike 1 and bike 2, and here I have created only one. Again, if I just create another one, bike 4, here also I will just write here bike 4. I will save this. Now you can see bike 1 and bike 2 data is same, Bike 3 and bike 4 data is same, but I want different data. Why I am getting same data? Because I have hard coded this value. I don't want to do this. So I will be passing parameter here, f name. Now this f name will be equal to this one. As soon as we pass this one, we have to pass the values here. I will be writing Khanam, and second one, let me just write here Sanya. I will save this. Now you can see the data is changed, and inside this function I will be writing walk. I will save this. You can see I am Khanam. I do walking every day. Now for this bike 2, if I just print here walk, I will save this. I am Sanya. I do walking every day. Okay, the data is changed. Accordingly, whatever data I have passed, that is been changed. In constructor function also, we will be doing the same thing. F name. This F name, this F name will be equal to this one. We are not going to hard code any values. Now here I can pass Ria, and here I will be passing Seema. I will save this. Now you can see I got Ria and I got Rima. Now here I got Ria and here I got Seema. Okay, this is how we are going to pass parameters in both factory function and constructor function. First we have seen it will be returning an object, but constructor function we are going to use this keyword. But inside factory function there is no use of this keyword, nor we are going to use new keyword. Directly by calling function we can create instance of an object. But for constructor function, we have to use new keyword to create an instance of an object. Now, when we are using this new keyword, in background, what it will be doing? First, it will be creating an empty object. First, it will just create an empty object. Then this empty object will be assigned to this keyword. Now, whatever we have given here, that will be added here. After that, by default, it will just return this. Now inside this whatever properties and methods are assigned, that will be displayed to us. You can see this is the reason we are getting the result here. Okay, these are the basic differences. Now there are some more differences which you have to understand, and carefully you have to watch this so that you will be getting minor things related to factory function and constructor function. I will just come down. Now first let me just talk about factory function. Now inside this factory function, for bike 1, what I will be doing, I will just modify this function. I will come here, I will be writing bike 1 dot walk, and for this walk, let me just copy this function from here, and here I will be pasting that one. Now instead of this, I will remove this one. I am Khanam. I am changed. I will just write that. I am changed. I will save this. Now you can see here, for first bike 1, when I called walk, I got this result. Whatever data I have changed, that is updated inside this bike 1. But for this bike 2, I am having the same result. Whatever I have given inside my factory function, the same result is updated. Because as I told you, as soon as we create instance of an object, this will be creating an copy of object, and accordingly the memory spaces will be different for both of this. So when I change data for bike 1, it will only be changed for bike 1. It will not be changed to bike 2. Might be in future when I add some design in bike 1, I want the same design in bike 2, because if I am working for the same company, for two bikes I will be having the same model, same design, everything will be similar. But when I add only for bike 1, it will be changed only for bike 1. It will not be changed to bike 2. So for that, many people what they will be doing, they will be adding inside the object prototype. Prototype section we have already seen, and also we have seen when we use prototype, we should never edit our object prototype. Okay, for each and every object you can see we are going to get this prototype, and when I open this one, we are having this constructor and everything, whatever it is. Now what I will be doing here, let me just print this one first. I will copy. Here I will be pasting. I will just print bike 1. I will be printing bike 2. I will save this. I have bike 1, bike 2, methods of both the objects, and these are my constructors. As of now, I'll just comment this constructors. Now, many people, what they will be doing, they will be adding inside this one. I will just come here, object dot prototype, and inside this, I just want to add one property, color, and for this color, I will be giving here red. Okay, there will be many bikes with the color red. So I have just added inside this object prototype. I will save this. Now the problem with this is when I open this, inside this you can see inside this prototype, this color is added. Again in bike 2, inside this prototype, this color is added. It is not only limited here. Whatever instance I create using this bike function, for every object, this color property will be added. And also surprisingly, for the objects which are created using this constructor, for them also inside this prototype, this color will be added. Whatever objects are present inside this, for everything, this color property will be added. Okay, this is the worst thing, and we should never do this mistake because we are editing our object prototype. We should never edit this one. Not only this, if I just create one empty object, let A is equal to, I will just print A. I will save this. Now inside this empty object also you can see this property will be added. Okay, as I told you, this is very wrong way, and we are never going to do this one. So instead of that, what we will be doing, we will be creating our own prototype inside factory function. For this constructor function, I will be telling you in a minute. But inside factory function, what we will do, we will be creating own prototype so that whatever changes we want, we can do inside that prototype, and that will be reflected to all the instances which are created using the factory function. I will comment it out. I will save this. Now when I open this one, that property is not displayed. Okay, instead of returning this kind of object, what we can do, I will come here. I will be writing function new data, and inside this I can just write here return object dot create. Okay, I can just write like this. After writing like this, I just have to pass my factory function name. I will copy. I will be pasting it here. It will be taking two parameters. First parameter is this one, and inside second parameter we will be passing the values. Okay, this is how we are going to see our example. First I will just remove this. Now what I want to do, I just want to add some method. So I will be creating const my new methods is equal to, and inside this directly I'm just going to create one method. I will just write here sleep. Let me write here sleep, and this will be returning I am sleeping. I will copy, and here I'm just going to change. I will write I am sleeping. I have written I am sleeping, missing initial. Okay, I have not written it equal to, and also I don't have to write. What I have done, I have just created one object, my new methods, and inside that I have just added one sleep. Now what I will be doing, I will be creating my own now what I will be doing, I will be creating my own prototype. This I have done. This method I have added inside this object. Now I will be using that one what I shown you before. Create, create new function, and inside this function I will be writing here return object dot create, and this will be taking two parameters. This is the instance. Okay, this is the method I just want to add. I will be pasting it here, and inside this, and let me just pass one parameter. I will be writing here L name. We just have to write like this. Okay, just keep on noticing this. You don't have to by heart this entire thing. These are the basic things which will be useful when it is necessary. But knowing the differences and choosing among them will be very easy once you understand the differences between them. So now here I will just write here L name. Inside this we just have to pass like this value, and here I will be writing L name. Okay, this L name will be equal to this one. Okay, this is how we are going to pass key value pair, and inside this curly braces I'm just going to pass like this. Now I have created my factory function. Basically, I have created my own prototype, and inside that this sleep method will be directly added inside this function. Let me just create one variable. Let my data is equal to create function, and inside this I'm just going to write here Rima. I will come here log my data. I will save this. Now you can see here L name is added, and here I am having the value Rima. Whatever I have given, that is displayed. But you can see this sleep method is not added, but I have passed the method here. Okay, this object whatever I have created, that I have passed. But when I open this one, only this L name property is present. As I told you, we have created our own prototype. So this method will be available inside this prototype. You can see sleep method is available here. And also if I just create another one, I will come down my data to my data 1, my data 1. I will just copy paste my data to here. Let me write Leela. I will save this. Here I am having Leela. Now inside this Leela also I am having the sleep method. Now what is the difference between object.prototype and creating our own object is when we added this property using object.prototype, this color property was getting added in all the objects. But when we create our own object, it will only be added to the instance which are created using this factory function. Now if I just create here, okay, now we are having bike. I will open. You can see I will not be having that sleep method here. Even if I create object here, empty object, I will be displaying that I will save this. Now you can see for empty object also, I won't be having that sleep method. So this is how we are going to solve our problem. What we will be doing, we are not going to add any properties or methods inside object prototype. Instead, we are going to create our own prototype and we are going to add the methods or properties, whatever we want, we can add inside that. Basically, what we are doing, whatever designs we are creating, basically what we have done, we have just created our own prototype. And once we create our own prototype, we can add those methods inside those prototype only for the instances which are created using that function. Okay, that is factory function. This is all about factory function. Just go through this again and again. Once you get the concept, then it will be very easy for you to understand factory function. Now let's talk about constructor function. Let me just remove this one. Inside this factory function, what we have done, we have created our own prototype. You can see we have created our own prototype. Instead of returning an object, we are just writing object.create, and whatever method we want, we can create like this and we can just pass that one. Inside constructor function, we will be having own prototype for this one. I will just write here bike.prototype. I just want to add the model number. Model number will be different for each one. So let me just add here color only, color, and this will be equal to blue. I will save this. I will open this one. You can see I am having name. I am having this walk method, but this color is not visible. Now when I open this prototype, you can see color is visible. Again for this also, color will be visible. You can see color will be visible for this also. Now here in the same way, I can add the method as well. I can just write here break. I will just write here function, and inside this function, let me copy this return. I stopped the car. I will save this. Again, I am just going to open. Again, I will open. Now you can see here I am having this break function. Again, inside this constructor also, I am having this break function. But normally, if I just write here normal object log a, I will save this. Now inside this object, you can see that constructor, whatever we have added here property and method, that will not be added in all the object. It will only be added for the instances which are created using this by constructor. Inside constructor function, we will be having the own prototype for this constructor. We just have to write bike.prototype. Whatever property or method we want, we just have to add here. And these properties and methods will be added to all the instances which are created using this constructor. Now I will just copy the same thing. Again, I will paste. I will write I am stop again. I will save this. Now here, first let me just print here log bike3 dot break. I will save this one. Now you can see I am stopped the car. I am stopped the car. I have stopped the car. Let me just read that one. Now again I'm just going to print this one, copy, paste. I will save this. Now you can see I am stopped the car. I stopped again. Okay, for both also, first I am getting this one and for second I am getting this one for bike 3. Now again for bike 4, if I just print, I will copy. Here I will be pasting that one, bike 4 dot break. I will save this. You can see for bike 4 also, I will be getting the same data. Whatever data I just print here, whatever properties and methods I add, that will be similar to both of these instances. Okay, bike 3 and bike 4. Now here what I will be doing, I will just write here bike 3 dot break. And for this break, I'm just going to add the function, and inside this function, I will just write here, I am wrong. I will save this. Okay, I just have to write like this. I will save this one. Now, okay, let me just remove this. I will copy bike 3. Here I will be pasting that one. Dot break. I will save this one. Now you can see here I am getting this I am wrong. Now what is the difference I am telling? When we are adding properties and methods inside the prototype, we are adding inside this constructor prototype itself. We are not adding anything inside the object prototype. Whatever properties and methods we have added, that will be there inside the prototype, so that it will be accessed by every object. But if I change the data for bike 3, the data will be changed. But for bike 4, whatever data I am having, that is the same thing that will be displayed. Inside factory function also, we were getting the same thing. Bike 1, if I change, only bike 1 data will be changed. Bike 2 data remains same based on this template. Inside this constructor function also, we have done the same thing. But what we have done, here we are having the prototype of this constructor. So we can add inside the prototype whatever methods and properties we want, and whichever instances we have created, they will be having access to those properties and methods because those are available inside the prototype. But inside factory function, we have to create our own prototype because we are not supposed to add inside object.prototype. Once we do that, it will be added inside the entire objects. Whatever objects we are having inside our programs, for entire object, that properties and methods will be added. So we are just going to create our own prototype. We will just write return object.create. Inside that, whatever new methods we just want, we can just add. And once it is available inside the prototype, this method will be available to all the objects, all the instance of objects which are created using the factory function. Okay, for all these things, for all the objects, this sleep method will be available. So these are some of the basic differences. But when we compare both of this, according to me, factory function will be easy because there is no need of new keyword, and also we are not using this keyword, and it is similar to basic regular function. Okay, it is not like we have to do complex things inside that. It is similar to regular function, but in ES6 classes were introduced. So when we go to that section, we are going to learn about classes as well. But when comparing to factory function and constructor function, personally I feel factory function is simpler because there are multiple things which we get directly inside factory function, but inside constructor and classes there are little things which we have to do extra. But seeing this example, you might feel that factory function is little bit difficult compared to this constructor function. But once you start writing the projects, then you will feel that factory function is simpler when compared to constructor functions. And also one more thing, factory function will be giving the data privacy as well. Now here, but inside constructor function, if we want to do that one, we have to add some more steps which will be little complex. But inside factory function, we can easily hide the data. Okay, let me just create one simple function, function student, and this name can be in capital or small. But capital when we give, it will be referring to constructor function. So better if we can use here small letters. Now here I'm just going to pass one parameter, student user ID. Now inside this, what I will be doing, I will just write one method, get data, return, return user ID. Here I can just write here user ID. what I have done, I have not add any properties inside that. I have directly used this parameter and I am just passing the value here. Okay, I just have to return the object inside the factory function. So here I will just write here return. Here I'm just going to close that one. Okay, what I have done, I am just returning the object. Inside that I have just passed one method and here I am just passing the user ID. You can see I have not passed here user ID like this, user ID colon user ID. Directly I am just passing inside this get data method. Now I'll come here. I will be creating one instance. Let student 1 is equal to student, and inside this I'm just going to pass schema. I will save this. I will just display that one. Log student 1. I will save this. Student 1 is not defined. Okay, student. I will save this one. Now you can see here I am having inside the student 1. Only thing that is displayed is this get method. Now when I just access this get method here, I will come down. I will just write here get data. I will save this. Now inside this you can see return user ID schema. Okay, whatever parameter I have passed, directly I got here. Without even giving the property, directly I have just passed here. Now if I just want to get that one, I will just write here dot user ID. User ID, I will save this. I will be getting undefined because this user ID I have not passed as a property. So I will be getting undefined. This is a simple way of hiding the data. We can hide the data. Once we hide the data, we cannot override this data. Okay, it will not be visible. So that we can avoid bugs inside our code. This also we can easily achieve in factory function. We just have to pass the parameters without passing properties. But the same thing if we do in constructor function or let it be classes, it will be little difficult and also it will be complex. But as a beginner, you don't have to understand that. You just have to understand these some basic differences between factory function and constructor function. Okay, I hope you understood. But at the end, I will not tell which is best among these two because you have to practice both. But whichever you feel that is good for you, you can use among them. That's all for this session. Next session, we are going to see object sets and also object maps.